Hi everybody, this is Amanda Ellis of amandaellis.co.uk and Facebook page Angelic Celestial Colours. I'm making a video on the 9th of November 2016. We've just had the result of the USA presidential election come in overnight, and I woke up at 4:44. Okay, so 4:44, one of those signs that the angels are with you. And as I woke up at 4:44, obviously the UK is in a different time zone to America. I thought I'd just put my phone on and see what the news was. And it was becoming quite apparent by then that Trump was on his way to winning. And then Metatron sort of starts to talk to me a little bit through the night. So I'm feeling a little bit tired this morning, but it's really important that I get this message out. And I don't know if it's going to be today or whether it's going to be tomorrow that you hear this recording, because YouTube takes a little while to upload. So this is the medium that it has to come out at, though. I've tried to record on my phone, it's not working. So obviously Metatron wants a bigger audience to hear this, which YouTube obviously provides. The first thing I want to say is that I do not want to get into a personal slanging match with regard to either candidate, either Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. I've said very publicly on my Facebook page that these two individuals are and were representative of consciousness that is out there in society at the moment. And what they are doing is mirroring that back to us, whether we like it or not. And it was never a case of an ideal choice, really, with either of them. Metatron is talking about a broken system was only ever going to provide a broken result. Okay, that's something I've actually written down. I've got some notes here, so excuse me if I look down at them. That doesn't, however, mean that the broken system, which has produced a broken result, hasn't got learning for us all within it, and actually in some higher perspective isn't actually divinely perfect. Please bear with me on that and don't just switch off because you're not agreeing with what I've just said there, okay? Archangel Metatron is an energy who deals with truth and divine love, and is always about the higher perspective and the learnings that come in with any situation. He also fundamentally believes that every single person on this planet is divine. Every single person has that divine spark within them, and that includes Donald Trump, and it includes Hillary Clinton, and it includes maybe any other person. Sorry, my screen's shaking because I'm just trying to move the camera. Any other person that you wish to defile, and that's what's been going on online, on YouTube, on Facebook. A huge, great big slanging match, and it's like he said this, she said that, and everyone is absolutely exhausted with it. So Metatron is reminding us that every person is divine, including these two people. And there is a really important thing here to remember, please, that there is divinity within every single person, including them. And what they are trying to do is bring up something which humanity has to look at. And I'm saying humanity because actually it isn't just America. America, like other countries in the world, is important because it affects other people and other nations. And so we're all in this together. Okay, I'm going to go to my notes and a few cards that I've drawn. And the first one that came out today is this one. Okay, so shock of the new. That might have come through on previous sessions that I've done on YouTube. But here we have got a woman, and what I'm drawn to is on one side of her head is like clashing cymbals and dustbins and what feels like discordant energies. And you could say that much of the rhetoric that has come out from both candidates during the election campaign was discordant and was negative. On the other side of the head is the sunflower, and the sunflower is golden and represents wisdom. So I feel with what we've got as a result, what we have to pray for and wish for is the fact that the president is surrounded by and Spirit helps to choose those who can bring in the wisdom and the higher intellect to soften this clanging tone, this discordant tone, which has unsettled many people around the world, not just within the USA. So that's the first thing that comes out with that card. The other thing is the shock of the new. There is a shock reverberating around the world, and it's going to take a little bit of time to settle. And what it requires is an older, mature soul to guide the times that we're in. And I'll leave it to your own judgment as to whether you feel that Donald Trump is that person. Okay, Metatron saying, even though he's divine, he is a younger soul. Okay, he's a younger soul. And as such, younger souls can make mistakes. They can speak before they think, and they can react in ways that maybe a more mature, older soul would not do so. Doesn't mean they're necessarily wrong. It just means that they're at a different stage of evolution. So remember that, please, that there are younger souls and there are older souls in our world, which has got absolutely nothing to do with the age that you are, whether you're 70 or whether you're 7. You can be an old soul at 7, you can be a young soul at 70. So what we wish for and what we ask the angels for is for some mature spiritual souls to come around him to help him with the task that he's got, okay? Now, I feel that what's happening, not just for America, but obviously primarily it is an American issue, but the rest of us can watch and learn as well, is that this is an ongoing lesson with regard to duality, okay? It's an aspect that Archangel Metatron talks about a lot. And what I mean by that is two things. Light and dark, and that's not about labeling anybody either light or dark, but we can say that some of the rhetoric that has come out during the election has certainly been dark in nature. If you talk about division, you are not talking about unity consciousness, okay? If you are talking about building a wall or a fence, you are not talking about the collective consciousness, which is what the fifth dimensional energy is all about. If you, by example, and this can apply to either candidate, be wrapped up in either corruption or lawsuit or inappropriate behaviour to others, whether that be women or minors, that is not of the light. That is a darker energy that is at play. And so I feel, and Deepak Chopra has talked about this a lot, and I really agree with him, is that what has happened is that the shadow aspect has come out in all its glory to be looked at. And it has actually come out in both candidates. It's not just Trump, and it wasn't just Clinton. It's almost as though the shadow was so big that one person couldn't actually illuminate it sufficiently. It would have been too much for one person to have brought out. And so we had in the 2016 US election 2 people that basically brought out shadow aspects. That was with regard to what they said and also with what they have done, whether in the past or what they are still doing. The danger is to look at that and just point the finger and think, oh, how disgusting. Look what that person does. Look what that person stands for. I hate that. What is happening, Archangel Metatron is saying, is that these 2 people are being used by Spirit to make us all look in the mirror at our own stuff, to make us all look in the mirror at our own shadow, our own sense of intolerance or hatred or anger, or wanting to point the finger of blame to another person rather than own our own shit. Sorry to say that. I know this is a spiritual video, but that's the word that I've got coming out. Because these are difficult, challenging times, and there's no point sugarcoating it. There's no point using fluffy, angelic language. You know, Archangel Metatron said to me as I made this video, or was about to make this video, use your own voice, Amanda. And by that, he's talking about the fact that our voices are really important at this time. And our voices need to be heard. And if you think about what's happened as an explosion of the shadow coming up for healing, and actually what's happened is shadow aspects, in a way, have been elected into power. What will always happen in a universe of duality is that the light will come back to find the balance. But the light cannot come back to find the balance if we stay hidden and are worried about, you know, I can't say this, I can't be that, I can't talk about this stuff, because of fear of what other people are going to say about me, okay? So it's a time to stand up and be counted. I was given a really interesting little figure at last weekend's workshop, and I'll just show it to you. And I'm sure you know this. It's the three figures, they're three little Buddhas here, and it's speak no evil, hear no evil, and see no evil, okay? And these three little Buddhas, if I put them a bit closer up to the up to the camera, can you see they're actually smiling, and they're quite, you know, they're quite happy, because what they're choosing to do is that they're not I'm wanting to say they are not listening to the hatred and the anger that is in their midst, okay? They're not hearing it, they're not seeing it, and then they are not responding to it. I've actually turned off all the media in my house, having heard the result. I don't want to hear all the, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it from either side. It's Metatron talked consistently through the last few weeks to try to detract from drama, to try to cast your vote and then step out of it, knowing that whatever happens is happening for the highest good. And I truly, truly feel that actually this is a very, very important moment in not just America's history, but the world's history. And this is about, let's look at the shadow. Let's not hide it anymore. Let's not try and push it away. Let's look at it. And we're going to be forced to look at it, okay? And don't be scared by that, because the shadow is just one half of the yin yang, the duality symbol. I wish I'd got it here to show you. Maybe it's behind me. Hold on, I need to get an image. This is the duality symbol from the forthcoming Archangel Metatron deck, and he wants me to show it to you. Okay, this is just a representation of it here. That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with darkness and light, hatred and love, fear and hope. And there is no right or wrong. It's just about realizing that you cannot suppress darkness forever. It has to come up. Hatred sometimes has to be expressed. Anger has to be expressed. Mistrust in a system has to be expressed. Corruption has to be exposed. You know, wrongdoing has to come to light. But the light will always balance. It will always find the equilibrium again. So even though now I know a few people are, well, not a few, quite a lot of people are feeling really quite fearful and worried for the future, please know that the light will find balance. And it might take weeks, it might take months, it might take years, but we will come back into that place of balance. What you need to do for now is to hold the light. I feel the second thing I want to say, and this is a really, really important part of Metatron's message, is that this is a wake-up call for all of us in terms of, do not give your power away to any person of whatever party who says, I have all the answers, I can fix it, because no one person can. And it doesn't matter whether it's Trump, it's Clinton, it's any of them. No one person can fix it. In 5D consciousness, which is what our planet is moving towards, and what those of you watching my video probably are already in In 5D consciousness, it has to be a group collective energy that brings about the answers. So I feel as though it could be a hard lesson to learn, because somebody has come into power basically saying, I can fix it. I can fix it all. I can make America great again. And the truth is, he can't. And that isn't about America. It would be the same for Great Britain. It would be the same for Australia. It would be the same for India. It doesn't matter where the country is. If a leader comes forward and says, I have got all the answers and I can fix it all, the truth is that they can't, because it has to be a collective answer that comes forward. And so you cannot divide and separate out groups and say, well, the answer's coming, but you're not part of it, okay? The answer has to come from the whole collective, the light and the dark, coming together, finding that balance and finding a new way. So I feel as though the simplistic answer that some people want is going to be shown up for what it is, which is it's impossible. You can't have that. So Metatron is also saying to me as I'm sitting here, it's also about the answer cannot be found at a rational 3D human intellectual level. Okay, and that's how some people have been responding to this. They've been trying to respond at an ego, intellectual, 3D, earthly, material level. The answer has to come from higher heart consciousness, from linking into spirit, angels, and source, and that is how the answers will come into our world. But realize that what we are going through now is necessary. It's a necessary lesson that not only America, but all of the world, all of us need to learn, which is that there are no easy answers. There is no one person. There is no savior that's going to come in on a great big white horse and take control of it all. And if you are responding to that and thinking that that is the truth, you're going to be disappointed, because the true answer and the true joy and the true peace comes from the spiritual aspect of life, okay? And it's bringing that spirituality down to earth. You might say in this, where is the divine feminine? You know, are we not meant to be entering an era where the divine feminine is coming in? And Hillary Clinton, for all her faults, was a woman. You can't take that away from her. You can take a lot of other things away from her, but you can't take away the fact she's a woman and she has that gender. I admit there's a part of me that thought, even though there were corruption and all sorts of other things attached to her, which I didn't like, the fact that she was female didn't mean that she would walk into the White House. But I did wonder about whether she was meant to plant a seed for a much better woman to come in her place in 4 years' time, in 8 years' time, just to literally plant a seed. Now that hasn't happened, and that actually feels a long way off still. But don't lose heart that the divine feminine cannot make itself heard. There are other women around the world taking up leadership positions. Most of them are pretty masculine in energy. Most of them are still playing by the old male paradigm. I can't think of many women out there at the moment, I'm talking politically here, who are really taking the realm from the heart. It will come though, okay? And we have to hold that vision that it is possible. And not only hold the vision, but to feel that reality within ourselves. So, for example, if you are a woman, get in touch with your own divine energy, your own divine femininity, and bring that up from the earth, you know, step into it. If you're a man, start to let go of the overtly masculine archetype that might have defined you and step more into your divine feminine, because we are all a mixture of both divine female and divine male, okay? Another aspect that Metatron wants me to mention, and I know this is all going to be controversial, and I'm prepared for any flack that comes from it, but as I say, the time for being quiet is over, is he's saying there is no such thing as any one great country, okay? There's a lot of rhetoric that comes out sometimes about making a country great again. Don't forget, I live in Great Britain, okay? And we had an empire around the world for centuries. And we've grown up with that thing about, we are a great, well, it's called Great Britain. It's in our name. America are often talking about, they are the greatest country on earth. And Metatron is saying there is no greatest country on earth. There is no greatest country on earth. We are all great nations, and we are all part of a collective tribe of countries which are just as great as each other. And until we can get to the point where we really accept that, and if you're really honest, most of us don't, then again, there's a great big block coming up here in terms of wrapping that fifth dimensional consciousness around a world that is completely equal and united, okay? So that may well be some work that you need to do on your inner self. And if I've pushed some buttons there with you where you've thought, well, hold on a minute, my country is the greatest, I want you just to think about that and think about the people maybe on the other side of the world or the opposite end of the world. Okay, if you're living in the northern hemisphere, start to think about those in the southern hemisphere. If you're in the western hemisphere, start to think about those in the eastern hemisphere, and start to appreciate the other cultures that are out there and the richness of this universe. There is no one country that is greater than any other. We are all equal. Okay. He's saying it's okay to be proud of your country, but don't let that pride place itself or make you place yourself above other nations and other people. Okay. Okay, moving on here. He is also talking about the fact that ego could very well have a complete riot over the next couple of weeks if we allow it. And we don't want that. We don't want that as light workers. What we want is to be tuned into our higher self and our heart. And as an example, okay, yes, I'm going back to these figures here, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Don't gloat. The people that have won, don't gloat. Gloating is very ugly. The people that have lost, don't be vitriolic about the victor. It comes from both sides. There is an ugliness that can come into speech. And we've got to really watch that, because the words that come out of our mouth are important. They hold an energy. And really what Archangel Metatron is wanting us to get to is to speak our truth, but to do so from a place of love and kinship from those around us. And this is hard because we do have strong opinions on things, but it's really important not to be vitriolic in victory, and equally not to be vitriolic in defeat as well. It's about moderate language, okay? It's about thinking before you speak. It's about choosing what you want to listen to as well. I would really advise turning off news channels and media stations that are going over the top about this now. And also some of the people that are being interviewed are very exaggerated examples on either side of the spectrum. It's not helpful to listen to that. What's helpful is to listen to your own inner voice. Now, after the card of Shock of the New, and actually I'm feeling this is like the Divine Feminine also. I'm not saying Hillary Clinton was the Divine Feminine, by the way. I'm just saying she was a seed. Even if she was a seed that was tainted, she still was a seed because she was a woman. But this Divine Feminine, and don't forget, this is the ultimate Divine Feminine that wants to come in, okay? She's like, my God, what the hell is going on? Have trust. The one that comes after that is have faith in the process, okay? And here we have a woman on bended knee, okay? We have a woman on bended knee, and this is the Divine Feminine on her bended knee. And I don't know whether it's supposed to be, but to me that red, it feels like a red snake that's around her, that's almost making her feel a little bit imprisoned. But she is on her knees. She's praying to Source and the angels. And I want to say, she's saying, let me in, let me in. It's got nothing to do with Clinton. This is to do with the divine feminine energy that wants to come into the planet. Let me in. And the little bird on her back is, he's a messenger. That's what I'm hearing. He's a messenger. And messengers, of course, come in from above. And he's just trying to whisper in her ear. But actually, she's almost like us. She's not listening because she doesn't believe it's ever going to happen, that we're ever going to manifest in a world of love and compassion and peace and actually have a choice of a candidate. And this is, again, not about America, it's about many different countries around the world, which is honest and pure. Metatron is saying, have faith in the process. It will happen. And then the card that follows that is this one, which is spirals of manifestation, okay? We are going to increasingly, and already do, attract in what we think. We also attract in what we fear. So any talk at the moment of fearing what is to come in over the next 4 years, even if you feel that is based on reality, okay? And there's a lot of talk about, fear of nuclear war and fear of this and fear of that. The more you think about that, the more likely you make it a reality, okay? Spirals of manifestation is about sending out a powerful spiral of manifestation, which is about peace, which is about, against all the odds, somehow we get ourselves out of this mess that we're in, okay? Somehow the light comes back into balance, because it will. And we don't need to know how, and we don't need to know when. We just need to have faith in the process, that our prayers have been answered, they haven't been ignored, and that all will be good. Metatron is also talking about, if you look at this woman as a bit like us, so as spiritual people, again, take the personalities out of it, forget it's about Trump or Clinton, but just think about the rhetoric and the energy that's come out, which anybody would say has been poisonous over the last few months. There's a part of us as a spiritual tribe that is thinking, how is it so bad? How has it got to this place? Have faith in the process. This is about the shadow coming up to be healed. And it's ugly and it's brutal and it really isn't pretty, but it needs to happen for the collective good of our planet. And the other thing is, I'm being drawn to say to you that if you think about the world at the moment, we're in a bit of a dark night of the soul type experience. We're trying to find our new way in the new paradigm that wants to come in. And sometimes we want to rush out of that tunnel because we think it's really horrible in here. And I don't want to hear these people, and I don't want to see what I'm seeing, and I don't want to feel what is coming around me. But Metatron is saying, no, be in that tunnel, because at the moment it's where humanity needs to be. You need to be acknowledging where you have been. You need to be acknowledging the racism that's in your midst. You need to be acknowledging the hatred that is in hearts. You need to be acknowledging the anger, and most importantly, the part of all of us that wants to point the finger and say it's you. And if you're wanting to point the finger at me in this video and say, I hate your message, and I hate what you're saying, ultimately what I'm trying to say is that we need to find love. We need to find the love. But we can't do that just by wrapping ourselves sometimes in cotton wool and all the fluffy stuff. Sometimes we've got to get real, and we've got to look at it, and we've got to look it in the face. And that's what you're being asked to do. Okay, so all really is perfect. I'm going back to that word, because it's all divinely orchestrated. And you cannot have the light at the moment on this planet without the shadow. They are meant to be together. Now, whether that shifts, I don't personally think it's going to shift in my lifetime. Maybe it shifts in my children's lifetime or my great-grandchildren's lifetime, I've no idea. But at the moment, this planet is still one of duality. And so we will do that dance. The most important thing for you to do is try to maintain your own fifth dimensional code of consciousness, okay? And that is about staying in the light as much as possible. I'm wondering whether I have got it to hand, because There is a piece of writing which I wrote about fifth dimensional consciousness. Let me just see if I can find it, guys, which would be very helpful to read you at this time. Where would I have put it is the question. If you bear with me, I'm just going to see if I can find it. I'm not going to empty all the drawers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to channel something through. Firstly, I'm going to use the spiritual protection spray, Archangel Metatron. Can you see he's got the sword of truth there, okay? And this sword of truth is going to cut through everything that needs to be cut through in our society and in our world. And make no mistake about it, those that are not fighting for truth and justice and wider collective consciousness, I'm hearing eventually will fall on their own sword, okay? That's a metaphor, of course. They will eventually have to fall on their own sword, whether in this lifetime or whether in the next lifetime. But, you know, you don't need to worry about that. But we just need to keep fighting for truth. Let's bring some spiritual protection around ourselves. Breathe that in. And around our planet. Around our world leaders. Around America. Around the new incoming president. And let's channel some information on where we go with fifth dimensional consciousness in these circumstances. Be the still, silent voice. Be the well of peace. Be the fire that continues to burn brightly in the darkness. Be the voice of reason. Be the face of forgiveness. Be the place of compassion. Be the voice of wisdom. Be not judge or jury. Be not slanderer or witch hunter. Step into your true angelic self. Unfurl the wings upon your back. And allow me, Archangel Metatron, to transport you for one moment to a higher place, a bird's eye view, where you rise above the energy of today, which is discordant, up into the higher realms of air, and you see the higher perspective. You see battle lines drawn between those who think they are right, neither side listening. And you need to learn as a species how to listen to each other, how to engage with each other, how to be with each other. And this lesson, part of the lesson, comes about through seeing what it is when we don't. And I'm hearing cause and reaction. And I'm just going to leave that cause and reaction because I'm not quite sure. He's not wanting me to quite go into that yet. And I'm feeling as though there is a sense here of, obviously it's not complete. Obviously this is an ongoing energy and an ongoing story. There are events still to unfold, and we will just take it day by day. And I'm just going to leave that cause and reaction because I'm not quite sure. He's not wanting me to quite go into that yet. And I'm feeling as though there is a sense here of, obviously it's not complete. Obviously this is an ongoing energy, an ongoing story. There are events still to unfold, and we will just take it day by day and event by event, he's saying. And so this is the guidance for today. And he's wanting me to pull one more card for you. I'll take it from the same deck. Let's just see what we get. He says, know that I am always with you. Know that I always love you. Through thick and thin, through good and bad, through love and hate, through periods where humanity shows itself at its best and at its worst. I have seen it all. I will always be here. I do not judge. I steer. I steer. Be the hunter, not the hunted. Why, owls come out at dark, don't they? Owls come out at dark, and you could say we're in a bit of a dark period at the moment in our world for many reasons. But look at those eyes on that owl. How steady and wise does it feel to you? And we've got the outlines of the beginning of the flower of life around it, which is the creation symbol. Be the hunter and not the hunted. I'm going to look up the meaning. So this oracle brings you some important news. I'm not reading all of it because it's a long video anyway. You are capable of seeing the truth, outsmarting old patterns and responding more creatively to craft new and improved relationships. You don't have to be drawn into the dramas of others or the suffering of repetitive struggles. You can become still and intent with a willingness to see the truth. In doing so, you will be open to being shown another way through the inner wisdom of your heart, or a flash of insight from the great universal mind that penetrates your own awareness. Yeah. The healing process here, it says, relax and imagine, perceive or feel that there is a deep indigo night sky above you and a full moon shining. There is stillness. For a moment there is peace. Then you just hear the sound of wings moving through the air, and you see an owl pass in front of the moon. There is grace and unwavering focus in the movement. There is absolute certainty and precision. Feel the power and natural ability of that animal to navigate with strong, unwavering instinct. And now imagine that that owl is you. It might be sitting above you on a tree branch or by your feet. Feed your vision, become sharp and your hearing acute. You are able to see, hear and sense the truth, even when it is obscured by lies, manipulations, unconsciousness or deception. You will be the successful hunter for the truth. You will not be hunted down or fall prey to illusion. Say aloud, I am willing to accurately perceive the truth in whatever life situation is now helpful for my spiritual growth. I feel empowered to commit to myself and my path without fear or holding back. I receive this vision through unconditional love. So be it. Yeah, beautiful. Be the hunter, not the hunted. There is nothing to fear. All is well. I will respond to events as and when they happen, but this video is complete for now. I send you lots of love and big hugs to everybody. We all need a group hug. Bye.